Hey guys, Tony here from TonyTechBytes, and this is the Flexispot height adjustable standing desk that they sent out to me for review. So I sit at my desk for at least 5 hours every single day, and it does get really tiring just to sit on a chair, even though this chair that I have from Autonomous is comfortable, and I usually do not feel very energized just sitting all day. So when Flexispot emailed me and asked if I wanted to check out their height adjustable desk, I obviously said yes, because I've actually never tried a motorized height adjustable desk before. So I'm going to talk about the build quality, features, and just my overall impressions of this desk in this video. So I have been using it for the past few days, and I have to say it is overall a pretty good desk. The assembly took a couple hours, and that's because my brother and I didn't have the necessary tools. You're supposed to use a power drill to install some of the screws to mount the tabletop on top of the legs, but we don't have a power drill at home. So what we had to do was a little bit makeshift, and I definitely would not recommend following in our footsteps. So to install the screws from the legs onto the tabletop, we had to basically use a hammer and just make some holes and then screw them in using a screwdriver. And this is obviously not the best idea because it can crack the tabletop and also damage some other parts. But this did work for us. I'm not sure if it'll work for you, so I definitely recommend getting a drill if you can. So I'm not an expert in installing furniture. I've obviously put together IKEA furniture, I've built a PC, but this was new to me because I've never really installed a motorized desk before. But overall, following the manual wasn't too bad. It does go over every single step, so I think even beginners to furniture installation would still find it pretty easy. So I've seen some other reviewers say that their model actually has some flaws to them, like scuffs on the tabletop, and so far from my sample I do not see any scuffs or marks on the tabletop. Luckily, and I'm glad shipping companies did not absolutely obliterate the tabletop. So for my sample, it's pretty much flawless, and that is really good to see. I also would have preferred a white tabletop instead of a black one, but I think this was all they had in stock, so I guess I really can't complain. So in terms of durability, the table does not shake around whenever you're just shaking it at its base configuration, which is 28 inches. But when you increase the height, it does start to get more unstable, and you can definitely shake it. And it feels like an earthquake when you're shaking it around. So I would not really recommend using it towards its maximum height. And it's not really a problem for me because I'm quite short, so I probably wouldn't ever need to raise it to its maximum height of 47.6 inches. However, if you're really tall, I don't really suggest this desk because it is really shaky once it gets to that height. So obviously some features with this desk are the adjustability over the height. So you have the up button and down button to increase and decrease the height. Then you also have 3 preset buttons that you can save to a selected height. So I have one of them selected to 28 inches for the base height when I'm just sitting. I have another one of them configured to 38.8 inches, which is what I like to set it to when I'm standing. I also have a third button, but I guess I could just leave that blank right now because it's not really necessary. So setting the button is really easy. Just follow the manual. All you have to do is go to your selected height, just click the M button, and then click whichever number you want to save the height to, and it'll easily configure it to that button. And whenever I'm sitting and I want to stand up, I just click the button that I have to my standing position, and it just automatically goes to it. I'm pretty sure the majority of standing desks do have this feature, so this isn't really a standout feature on this desk, but it is really nice to see nonetheless. There's also an LED display, which actually helps a lot because you can see the height of the standing desk. Also, there was this one time I got an error code. It was like error ASR when I reached the maximum height, and all I had to do was basically lower it all the way down, unplug the power, then drain it by clicking the down arrow, and then plugging it back in, holding the down arrow, and then it successfully reset. So if you encounter a problem like that, it should be fairly easy, and the manual also does include many tips on troubleshooting. The maximum payload capacity on this desk is 154 pounds, and I can successfully lay on it, so it should be fine if you have many heavy monitors, a heavy desktop, and other stuff on top of the desk. One thing I do not like about the keypad is that you have to apply a lot of pressure with your finger onto the buttons to increase or decrease the height. And when you let go of your finger just a little bit, it'll stop, and it does get a little bit annoying when you have to exert like a lot of force on the button. I wish it required a little bit less pressure, but then again, if it didn't require that much pressure, the height would just be moving like way too much, and the control wouldn't be as precise, so I guess this is fine as it is. Another thing I want to include is that they do include some cable management solutions, like these sticker things that basically hook onto the wires and hold them together, and that is really cool because you won't have as many cables dangling from the bottom of the table, and I really appreciate that they did include that. So overall, the build quality of this desk is fairly good. I'm lucky that my sample did not have any scuffs coming out of the box. I hope that this is true among the rest of their products. The table doesn't really shake at its lowest configuration, but when you increase the height towards its maximum configuration, it does start to get really shaky, so I do not recommend this for very tall people. At its current price of around $360 USD, I would say this is a great purchase because you can obviously sit on it and as well as stand. The tabletop length that I have is 58 inches, so it does provide a lot of desk space to work on, and I actually have a 78-inch tabletop from IKEA that is obviously overkill, but this still does the job, and I really like using it. There are obviously more premium options out there, but they do cost a lot more. So I would say this is a great option if you don't want to spend as much money and if you aren't the tallest person out there. I do see myself possibly using this table to stream because I can easily move my PC and monitor over to this area and point a webcam or whatever camera that I use towards this way so you can see the rest of my setup. So I think that would look pretty cool. And I also see myself using this as sort of a workspace to work on my PC, to upgrade my PC as well as build PCs and do other things. And this would also serve as a great desk for photography, videography, and B-roll and all that stuff. I also forgot to mention that the motor for the desk does make a little bit of noise, but it isn't too annoying or loud. So thank you so much for watching this review of the Flexispot height adjustable desk. If you want to check it out, I'll leave the link to the desk in the description down below for your convenience. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and like if you enjoyed this video.